43 days of shutdown. Airports dead, paychecks gone. Then, one order changed everything. The president rebooted the nation.
And I made sure America saw it happen.
Escape from D.C. in theaters now.
The shutdown is over. Trump ended it. Democrats lost everything. But what's happening right now in the aftermath is even more explosive than the shutdown itself. John Fetterman, Pennsylvania's Democrat senator, just broke ranks and exposed the sick truth. His own party was cheering for his next stroke. Yeah, cheering for him to suffer. And of course, what happens next? He falls down while on a walk. Yes, hospitalized. But that's just the beginning of what he's revealing about the cruelty of the heart of the Democrat machine. And the fallout is destroying them from the inside. Now, this isn't just another political spat. When a sitting Democrat senator admits his own party wanted him dead, cheered for his next stroke, we're witnessing the collapse of an entire political machine. Now, think about what's at stake here. If Democrats treat their own wounded soldiers with this level of cruelty, what does that mean for regular Americans, for your family, for your community? We're talking about a party that just shut down the entire federal government for 43 days, left military families without paychecks, canceled 20,000 flights, cut off food stamps for millions, all to extort money for illegal aliens. 1 million federal workers went without pay while Congress kept collecting checks. This is the party that controls your health care, your schools, and your taxes. And now their own members are confirming what we've suspected all along. They are driven by pure hatred and control. And as we wrap up 2025, it's time to slow down and reflect. If there's one thing we've learned, it's that uncertainty isn't temporary. It's the world we live in now. Waiting for things to go back to normal isn't a plan. It's a gamble. And for over a decade, my friends at Noble Gold Investments have helped Americans protect themselves and the people they love by diversifying their wealth with gold and silver. Now, look, nobody knows what 2026 will bring, but one thing is for sure. In an uncertain world, real wealth isn't digital, it's physical, it's lasting, and it's yours. So before the year ends, take one smart step towards a safer future and visit nextnewsgold.com. Get your free wealth protection kit. That's nextnewsgold.com. Don't leave your future to chance. And check out that number on the screen, 877-646-5347, if you want to find out how you can get those 10 1-ounce silver holiday coins with qualified accounts. Make great stocking stuffers this year. But here's where it gets explosive. Fetterman didn't just expose cruelty. He exposed the lies. Democrats are responsible for Obamacare's failure, not Republicans, Democrats. He's calling out Bernie Sanders by name for voting against food assistance and military pay. Meanwhile, Kristi Noem is literally handing out $10,000 bonus checks to TSA workers who stayed on the job during the Democrat shutdown. Think about that contrast. Republicans paying workers out of pocket while Democrats let them suffer. And Trump, he ended it all with one signature, calling it what it was: extortion, pure extortion. So just 5 hours ago, we learned Senator Fetterman hospitalized after falling on a walk, hitting his face with minor injuries. Blue Sky Democrats have recently been posting they hope he has a stroke and dies, literally rooting for his death. Here's the news as it happened.
We have some breaking, of course, from Pennsylvania, and we have some breaking news for you from Senator Fetterman's team. During an early walk, he sustained a fall near his home. Out of an abundance of caution, he was transported to a hospital. Upon evaluation, it was established he had a ventricular fibrillation flare-up that led to him feeling lightheaded, falling, of course, from Pennsylvania. And we have some...
So he had a ventricular flare-up. All right. Now, if you think about what he's been doing lately, the guy's been going hard on television, going against his own party, enduring hate, death threats, basically death wishes online repeatedly from his own party. So I decided to ask ChatGPT, could the stress he's going hard against his own party have caused what happened? Yes. Stress absolutely can trigger dangerous heart rhythm episodes in someone with Fetterman's medical history. In his specific case, it's not only plausible, it's medically likely. Fetterman has the exact conditions that stress aggravates. He has cardiomyopathy, weakened heart muscle, a history of arrhythmias, a pacemaker, defibrillator, a stroke history, arterial fibrillation. These conditions make the electrical system of the heart unstable. When somebody already has a rhythm has rhythm instability, stress can easily trip it over the edge. When he's on TV, he's going hard against the Democrat government, shutdown fights, and high-pressure political battles. His body experiences elevated adrenaline, increased cortisol, higher blood pressure, faster heart rate. And for a normal heart, this is manageable. For a damaged heart, this can trigger ventricular arrhythmias, palpitations, fainting episodes, pacemaker, ICD shocks. Stress is one of the top known triggers for ventricular rhythm disturbances. So everything that he has, this shutdown caused what happened to Fetterman. Could have killed him. And the Democrats would have celebrated that moment. Right? So here he is just 24 hours ago. Veronica says, well, I'm glad Mr. Fetterman sees that MAGA has seen it for a long time. John Fetterman says the left is much crueler than the right. 24 hours ago. I mean, he's crossing a line with his own party. No wonder he had a heart problem today.
You said, quote, I've drunk deeply of the venom of both the left and the right. As a connoisseur, I can confirm that the most poisonous, the bitterest, is from the far left. That is pretty remarkable to hear you say that as an elected Democrat. Why?
No. It's just been my personal experience on this thing. And when I asked my digital team, I said, we're on all the platforms, really what's kind of the harshest, what's kind of the most personal? And the answer was immediate. He said, blue sky, it's blue sky. And the difference is, the right would say really rough things and names, some names I won't repeat on TV, but the on the left, it was like they want me to die, or that we're cheering for your next stroke, or that's terrible that depression won. Why couldn't it depression won? And I hope your kids find you. They even have like the graphic, a GIF where they have like a stroke, in your head, cheering at that. Yeah, and they said that. I remember one. They claimed, the doctor let us down, and why did they have to save his life? Just really, I just can't imagine. People are wishing, I wish he dies, or I want him to die. Literally cheering for a stroke. And I don't know what the kind of a place where that comes from. That's much different than just calling me a name. That's really been consistent, in that community online.
You said, quote,
and of course, those are all CNN viewers as well. Fetterman says Democrats are responsible for Obamacare's ACA. Sean Farash posting this. He says Fetterman's right. Obamacare has been an unmitigated disaster.
To people that are watching, it's like the Democrats. We designed these to expire at the end of the year. This wasn't something that Republicans are taking. It's like, that's how we designed this. To people that
Democrats designed it. Fetterman criticizes Bernie Sanders for repeatedly voting to deny the needy their food assistance or U.S. military their pay. Paul Zappulo says, good for Fetterman for saying these things. He's one of the only sensible Democrats in Congress these days.
Americans. What do you say to those like Bernie Sanders, who insists that this vote paves the way for 15 million people to be thrown off of Medicaid, and the likelihood that premiums will double, triple, or even quadruple for 20 million Americans?
Well, Bernie should answer why he's okay with putting 42 million Americans to face mass food insecurity, or he can explain to the military why it's okay not to pay them. And the tens of millions of Americans that are going to be flying and are flying, now.
What do you say to...
What do those individuals say when they see Bernie Sanders or Chuck Schumer in the airport? What do they say? What would you say if you were one of those individuals that were directly affected, didn't get paid? We're panicking because these guys held your paycheck hostage. Well, Secretary Noem handing out $10,000 bonus checks to Houston TSA workers who stepped up and showed up to work during the Democrat government shutdown. I wonder what happens to those who decided they were going to skip out and do Uber instead. Do they still get the check?
But we will be looking at every single TSA official that helped serve during this government shutdown and do what we can to recognize that and help them financially with a bonus check to get them and their family back on their feet. So with that, Rico, I want to present to you a check and say thank you from the American people. Appreciate it. Ashley, and thank you. Yes. And is Leo here? All right, Leo.
Secretary Noem handing out checks to TSA agents who stayed loyal and showed up to work despite it all. Bannon's War Room 8 hours ago, Mark Mitchell says Trump's numbers held strong through the shutdown until Republicans ran out of a plan. Voters expect action. The right talks about burning down the oligarchy, but still hasn't lit the match.
Oh, the Grim Reaper. What happened is Donald Trump's numbers didn't take a nosedive at all for the first 3 weeks of the shutdown. It was incredible.
Mark Mitchell, lead pollster, Rasmussen reports.
I didn't know what to expect, and people are like, okay, whatever, sure, we're going to shut this down. And on the internet, which I admit is not real world, everybody was like, oh, look, we got to get Russ vote, the Grim Reaper. So what happened is about 3 weeks into this, when Donald Trump's flying around the world talking to dignitaries, and we're building the East Wing of the White House, and now food stamps are going to get defunded, and we're walking into an election, all of a sudden his numbers started tanking. And it was very clear that, in my opinion, the Republicans had no plan, and everybody went on the internet, and everyone was ripping their faces off on the right about Israel. And so I think that's what happened. And then you look at the elections and it's like, oh, yep, independents and crossover Democrats didn't turn out in New Jersey. And some of them might have been affected by what was going on, but clearly some of them, I think, just expected more out of a Republican Party and are not excited to go to the polls. Democrats are excited to go vote because they hate Trump, and that motivates them. On the right, unfortunately, what motivates them is smashing the oligarchy and burning the government down. And the right is not doing that, and so the left's going to get a chance. The pendulum's going to swing back, and this might be the last chance. I don't know. We got 355 days to an election, and the Republicans are going to lose this one. They are just going to lose it. It looked like their plan was a gerrymandering war of attrition that they're now appearing to lose. And the generic ballot is, I think, Democrat +5 on the Real Clear Politics aggregate. Rich says his numbers are way worse than that. I don't.
Dude, if we lose the midterms, it's going to be an impeachment party all over again. Impeachment number 3 on the horizon. So, folks, turn out. Bill O'Reilly says the Democrats shut down the government for 43 days and got bupkis. It's embarrassing. A resounding defeat. No spin. Let's listen.
They're saying you should have. The Democratic Party right now is fractured. Okay, so I don't even know what they got. What did they get holding up the government for 43 days? What? Did they get anything, Cuomo?
Well, that's their beef. Is they're saying you should have kept it shut down, and we would have gotten what we wanted, which was to fix health care for people.
Coulda. Let's deal with history. What did the Democratic Party get for shutting the government down for 43 days? What?
Nothing, but that's their complaint, Bill. They're saying the senators shouldn't have acquiesced. That's why they're saying they caved.
I don't care about the complaints. So on the record, I don't care about the complaint. Who cares what they say? On the record is we, the Democratic Party, shut down the United States government for 43 days and got bupkis. That's pretty embarrassing, I think, right? Isn't that embarrassing?
Well, let me. Can I answer?
Please.
Yes, Bill. It's embarrassing if you're looking at it from the macro, if you're somebody that's just paying attention to the final result. The Democrats, however, who voted to hold the line, their position is clearly if we had held out, ultimately, this would have been perceived as a Trump shutdown. There would have been some caving on the part of some of the GOP members because they represent states where they were going to be affected by the shutdown as well, and they would have been made to pay a price. Had that happened, then they would be making a different argument. They can't make the argument because some of their own decided to go with the GOP, which you know, Bill, and that's what it is.
Look. That's exactly what happened. They defected and gave Trump the win. Secretary Rollins says, where was a sense of humanity 15 different times they voted.
For illegal aliens. Where is the sense of humanity when 15 different times over 45 days they themselves admitted they were holding Americans hostage to a $200 million for health care for illegal aliens, $50 million for NPR and left-leaning media centers, millions for LGBTQ programs in the Balkans and other countries around the world. Are you serious right now? Is this why you're not going to open the government to support these programs that the majority of Americans, perhaps even the supermajority of Americans, do not support? And that is really the crux of the situation. Again, the president was so clear, and we were band-aiding and we were duct taping and we were bubble gumming all the way through October to get those funds out. And from the very beginning of October, we said, guys, November 1, there is nothing left. There is nothing that we believe statutorily, constitutionally, that we are able to do. We have got to get the government open so that Najee and all of these families can get their benefits.
And finally, the government opened, President Trump signing it into law last night. Here is 21 hours ago.
For the past 43 days, Democrats in Congress shut down the government of the United States in an attempt to extort American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars for illegal aliens and people that came into our country illegally, from gangs, from prisons, from mental institutions. They wanted to pay them $1.5 trillion, which would have really hurt our health care businesses and our recipients at levels never seen before. Today, we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was. They tried to extort. The Democrats tried to extort our country. In just a moment, I'll sign a bill exactly like we asked Democrats to send us all along, many days ago. This cost the country $1.5 trillion, this little excursion that they took us on. Republicans never wanted a shutdown and voted 15 times for a clean continuation of funding. There's never been a time when one or the other party ever didn't sign a continuation. It's just a continuation, not a big deal. It's a continuation and we'll talk later. Yet the extremists in the other party insisted on creating the longest government shutdown in American history, and they did it purely for political reasons.
Disgusting. How many people were affected? How much momentum did Trump lose? Here's what happened. Inflicted massive harm, he says, President Trump in the Oval Office last night.
So late. Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm. They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed. They departed so many times, so late. People were hurt so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything like this one. This was a no-brainer. This was an easy extension. But they didn't want to do it the easy way. They had to do it the hard way. And they look very bad, the Democrats do. They deprived more than 1 million government workers from their paychecks and cut off food stamp benefits for millions and millions more Americans in need. They caused tens of thousands of federal contractors and small businesses to go unpaid, and the total effect of the damage their antics caused will take weeks and probably months to really calculate accurately, including the serious harm that they did to our economy and to people and to families. So I just want to tell the American people, you should not forget this. When we come up to midterms and other things, don't forget what they've done to our country. I also want to call for a termination to the filibuster so that this can never happen again. Over the past,
so it can never happen again. And guess what? It's going to happen again in January. President Trump remarks, says, I'm always willing to work with anyone, including the other party. We'll work on something having to do with health care, and we're going to forget this Obamacare madness.
Much money to the people. So we're going to pay a lot of money to the people. They're going to go out and buy their own health care, and we're going to forget this Obamacare madness. So I'm always willing to work with anyone, including the other party. We'll work on something having to do with health care. We can do a lot better. We can do great. So much money is involved, and we're willing to pay so much money to the people. So we're going to pay a lot.
President Trump signing the bill officially ending the government shutdown. With my signature, the federal government will now resume normal operations, and my administration and our partners in Congress will continue our work to lower the cost of living and restore public safety, make America affordable again for all Americans. Let's check in with Stephen Miller. He went off on the Democrats for costing our economy billions with their useless shutdown. Billions of dollars they cost us.
Understanding Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries being terrified of the Mondami wing, the AOC wing of the Democrat Party, understanding that they're not in control of anything anymore. It is a communist party. Is it an America Last party? It is a party that puts illegals over citizens, criminals over cops, cheaters over hardworking taxpayers at every level. This shutdown was an example of just how little the Democrats care about Americans. They forced our national security workers to go without pay. They forced Americans to be stuck at airports, flights canceled at levels never seen before in history. Why? All for what? $1.5 trillion of demands, including free health care for illegal aliens, to bloat the government, to steal from taxpayers, to steal from working Americans. And at the end, after over 40 days, what did they get? Nothing. Defeated, humiliated, disgraced. But in the meantime, they sucked billions of dollars in wealth out of the economy. Think about the contrast, Sean. President Trump bringing trillions of investment into America, giving Americans trillions of dollars in tax cuts. And what did Democrats do in their big moment? They steal hardworking money from our taxpayers, they cancel their flights, and they destroy billions of dollars in economic value. You will not see a clear contrast. The Democrats are the party of destruction. President Trump is leading the party of creation, opportunity, and wealth. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem...
Stephen Miller, he just said the quiet part out loud. This is not a political party anymore. It is communist America. It is a communist America Last racket. A party that puts illegals over citizens and criminals over cops and chaos over order. And now their own senator is confirming it. The cruelty, the hatred, the willingness to destroy lives for power, it's all real. And the shutdown, total failure. 43 days of pain for nothing. Democrats got, as Bill Riley said, absolutely bupkis. So this matters because we're not dealing with political opponents anymore. We're dealing with an ideology that celebrates suffering. When Fetterman admits the left wanted him to die, that's not hyperbole, that's confession. When Democrats shut down government for 43 days to fund illegal aliens while Americans starve, that's not politics. That's warfare against American citizens. Trump didn't negotiate with these terrorists. He ended their game with one signature and got America working again. So here's the question for the comment section. Will more Democrats follow Fetterman's lead and speak truth, or will they stay silent while their party devours itself? What do you think? But what about this? Should Republicans welcome defecting Democrats like Fetterman with open arms? Let's have a conversation. And while you're fired up, check out our merch shop, link below, and wear your patriotism proudly. You see, this is bigger than any party politics now. This is about saving America from those who openly admit they want their opponents dead.